A lot of the time when we talk about influencers having creepy encounters, it's usually something to do with a weird DM that they received or sent themselves. However, this time we're going to be shifting our focus onto the more mysterious side of YouTube when it comes to creepy encounters. But first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. In at number 10, Mr. Technical Difficult. When YouTuber Mr. Technical Difficult posted a video of himself at a local watering hole with families and their dogs relaxing, we certainly did not expect what would follow. First, the man in the video spots a cooler on the other side of the water and instructs a man in blue swimming trunks to go fetch it. When the white cooler and blue trunks man make it back to the other side, you can see that it's been duct taped shut, and I mean like really duct taped shut. This thing was wrapped a bunch of times. A bystander even jokes that it might even be treasure. However, they were in for a rude awakening. When it opened up, all that was inside was this extremely old and extremely creepy looking doll. My guess is that it was haunted and the previous owner of said doll were just clearly trying to get rid of it. In at number 9, Exploring with Josh. When YouTuber Exploring with Josh got tipped off that an abandoned plane was near where they would be filming, he and his team quickly set out to find it. It took an hour moped ride to reach their destination, and oddly enough, the plane which they found in the middle of nowhere seemed to be on display. Judging from the size of the area, it's difficult to assess how exactly a 737 could have even landed there, but I guess that's the creepy part. The fact that it's there at all is just remarkable. The only portion of the plane that they could explore though was the cargo, which is almost creepier than the plane itself. In number 8, Luke McPherson. YouTuber Luke McPherson takes a bite out of our number 8 spot with his discovery of a shark left in an abandoned wildlife park. At first glance it looks like someone's pool before they've reopened it and added a lot of chlorine. Wanting to know what was inside of the tank, he ventured to the other side of it and could make out the shadowy outline of a shark. The wildlife park, also known as Wildlife Wonderland, was an attraction where tourists could see local Australian animals up close and personal. One of the main attractions was a preserved dead shark by the name of Rosie. F's in the chat for Rosie, please. In at number 7, Cheyenne. This urban exploration video begins in a dark hallway. It then leads to a small door that has to actually be force open to enter. The influencer said in the description that he was exploring a factory in the industrial part of the city and discovered this dark hallway, and so he began to walk down it. A braver man than I. The hallway ended up emptying out into a safe house, and it had working lights, many supplies, and it looked like someone had even recently lived there. It was filled with trash and debris, suggesting it was either abandoned in a hurry or the person using it was a complete slob. The rooms and furniture inside looked vintage, with newspapers and placards hanging on the wall. The explorer found a sleeping area even with a couple of bunk beds, and while the place was a complete mess, it could have very well belonged to someone. In number 6, Hole in the Ground. YouTuber World War II history hunter spends most of his time searching for remnants of the last war with his metal detector. He's found a few of these old German hiding spots throughout his travels, one of which though looks like it was recently inhabited. The door was sealed really well and hidden with dirt, but with a proper set of tools he was finally able to open it. Inside, the hole was dark and almost appeared to lead into a tunnel of sorts. He explicitly says that he didn't want to venture down there because of how creepy it was to find in the first place. Earlier in the day he had come across a cell phone and even a hot plate, which suggests that someone could have very well been living in one of these holes even recently. In number 5, Sunken Statue. While a team of scuba divers were adventuring the depths of Bohol in the Philippines, they came across a sunken statue of Mother Mary. It must have been made with some sort of really decent materials because it looked as though it had been put there recently. What we do know is that the statue was actually placed there with a purpose in mind. The statue of Mary was put into the water to stop dynamite fishing on the reef, and it actually worked. All of the locals know the statue is there and understand its importance, although if you're foreign to these parts of the water, it will most certainly shock and disturb you. In number 4, the vampire doll. While walking through a graveyard site, a YouTuber noticed what appeared to be a doll wearing bright white clothing. Upon closer inspection, the doll looked more sinister though than they could have ever imagined. It was a vampire looking doll of a baby, bottle full of blood and all. Not only was it perched on the edge of a tombstone, but its eyes were created as an optical illusion. This was so that the demon doll appeared to follow you with its eyes no matter which way that you looked at it. Although we all know it's just an optical illusion, it does not negate the fact that it was one of the creepiest discoveries ever made. In number 3, the war bunker. Meanwhile in Great Britain, another YouTuber came across what appears to be an abandoned war bunker. The war required many of these bunkers to be commissioned for the protection of Great Britain, but when the war ended, naturally both sides didn't really have any use for them. As a result, YouTube is filled with videos of people stumbling across these lost bunkers. The creepy part about this new discovery though was the fact that the abandoned war bunker still had running electricity. It was also unusually large in size and still had some of these soldier supplies scattered throughout. In number 2, the prosthetic leg. Bordering on the line of both confusing and creepy, I bet when this YouTuber hit record, they never thought they would come across a prosthetic leg. While diving in a river, they noticed what appeared to be an amputated leg jammed underneath a rock. Once the camera got closer though, they soon realized that it was a prosthetic. I mean, thank God, how disturbing would that have been if it was an actual human leg? Either way, it looked very old and had probably been dislodged from its host a long time ago. Last but certainly not least, in our number 1 spot, little girl in a cave. YouTuber Exploring with Josh earns another spot on our list of creepy discoveries. He and his crew decided to explore a deep underground cave, and for the majority of the video, besides the tours on the outside of the cave, they were all alone. That is until they reached the end of the cave. They could faintly hear the sounds of a little girl weeping. When they turned back down another corridor, they discovered they were not alone after all. Lost in the cave was a little girl who had wandered off from her family into the caves before they had entered. With no flashlight, she was frantically trying to find a way out until Josh and his crew found her. With that though, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Lil Uzi Vert loses $24 million diamond, Logan Paul caught stealing, and Nicole Scherzinger sued. Mr. Wiggle says when Lil Uzi got his diamond ripped out, he is no longer in the Illuminati. I think that's how it works. That's how it works. Johnny Flash 25 says, dang, Lil Uzi is giving me some Infinity War vibes, rest in peace Vision. Oh, most definitely. You have no idea how badly I wanted to have that Infinity Stone being ripped out of Vision's head with Thanos just pulling it right beside but we decided against it. We decided, probably because of copyright. I bet Marvel would have been all over that. Andy McKett says, stolen, that diamond implant got infected. Yeah, or that. I remember I said it was probably like problems with lifting a t-shirt on and off his head, but you're probably right with it. It just got infected and that's why he had to remove it. Premier Varche says, I'm back after not feeling well, but now that I am, let me say never put expensive jewelry on your head and think you won't lose it. Very true, and I'm happy that you're feeling better. Help me reach 14k subs without any videos says, these videos is the thing we need. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment, and I hope you hit your goal. Well guys, that is today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy YouTube, or at least try.